Afternoon. Good afternoon, Melanie. How you doing?
Hi, Tony. I'm good. How are you?
Well, I like that. Hi, Tony. Like you all business,
What?
Like you all business today, right? Oh, hi, Tony. Hey, we under the tree again. And Melanie feeling her independence. You see her got her hair purple, her hair blue. She got a color yellow, and she got a bright smile. Her independence is, hey,
Off and running.
mmm. It's good to be here in the land of the living. And the way the Lord has made this beautiful Bahamas for us to enjoy. And it's independence celebrate. Man, listen, I so happy. Melanie,
Hmm.
I so happy. Even though this is the roughest day of my life, I feel like I get a little flu.
Oh, dear.
So struggling. And I've been struggling all day. So now, the,
Flu season over, though. What you doing with the flu? Flu
I don't
season
know.
over.
I don't know what happened.
You get wet in the rain?
Ain't no rain. Rain, that's old school. That's old people. Let me talk about rain. You know how much time you get rain, you never say. Rain don't do nobody nothing. Where you get that from?
Okay.
That's from the bush days. When you get wet
Okay.
in the rain. Man,
All
people is
right.
waking the rain and never happen. People live in England, London, Hereford,
Our rain and our environment is
Ireland.
different from them.
Oh, it's different. And they ain't never complain with sick. Anyway, yeah, our show is based on Independence Day. Anything you can clean up?
I always have a promotion, right? This
Oh,
is the
Jesus. Oh,
weekend.
Jesus.
All road leads to fish fry. So after Junkanoo, if you in on Junkanoo, then you should be on the Bahamas Society of Ophthalmic Nurses Fun Run Walk, Monday morning, 6 o'clock sharp. And then if you don't come to the walkathon, a Fun Run Walk, then we invite you at the end of Junkanoo to come down and get yourself some good old Bahamian turkey, pig feet, or chicken sauce with Johnny Cake, because we are raising funds for the people of the Bahamas to protect their eyes from going blind. And so we are having yet another fundraiser, the Nurses of the Society, in partnership with all of our supporters in the specialty of eye care, Rotary, and other civic groups. So, fun run walk south out at the fish fry on the Western Esplanade side near the cricket club, that side where the parking lot is. That's where all the activity will be. So we're hoping that as many of you will come out and support us, because it is a worthy cause. Each of us have a pair of eyes, so therefore all of us stand to benefit from promoting the prevention of blindness in our population. Yes, sir. That's it.
Ah, this is your show today. I feel it struggling. I struggle. But you know what?
Well,
I
we're
didn't.
we're only 3 minutes into the show, so wake up, wake
Yeah,
up, wake up.
let me say this to you. Let me say this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you say they had fish fry,
Yeah.
and they beat up what time they
They
say?
call it Western Esplanade. The 5:30 registration begin.
Okay.
The walk starts at 6 o'clock prompt
And where the walk going to?
from Fish Fry to Goodman's Bay and back.
That's a good little walk.
Good little walk.
You know, how much people get a foot height, and corn height, and knee problems, and all. That's a good little height for old people. You all
Well,
next time put a shorter.
well, the older persons are free to turn around whenever they feel they've reached their max, and they can double.
Mm.
So whenever you feel that you've gone far enough, but know that you will not be among the prize winners.
Bahamian people like short things. They will go up to the fort and back down to Awaki, and then they win a prize. They gotta listen. You Bahamian people so lazy now. They ain't got no time for that. They walk.
Well, we promote moving for the health of it. So the longer you move, the healthier you are.
Well, I been moving all this time. Look what high I get. Look like feel like I got the flu. Feel like I ready to fall down.
You probably overdid it. You have to keep it in balance.
Okay.
So when you go over the balance beam, then you fall over, right? You topple,
Mm-hmm.
and you end up
But
getting sick or
so,
injured.
but somebody I had two two critics. You know when you do these shows, you always have somebody that say something, right? One say I mentioned Penland name.
So Linden?
Yeah. So in Penland we do. Then I can't say that word they say, but they mash Penland up. And then the next one.
Really?
Yeah. Then the next one say, yeah, Penland was a leader. So I gotta bring people
So
up to
it
date.
tells you what? That there is difference in opinion,
Opinions.
and it doesn't matter. You cannot, no one individual could please everybody.
but-
So you do what you deem is your best, and I think he did his best.
But you see, I remember now we're talking about the true Bahamian.
Yes.
Who was a Bahamian? And I guess I mentioned Penland name that.
So Linden?
So Linden, that triggered some people off. Some people just didn't even hear that name mentioned.
Well, to them, we respect them. Unfortunately, you cannot change history. He was the first Prime Minister of the independent Bahamas, and there is nothing you can do about it.
But if we'd listen, and this, I think this is where they had the problem. When I talk about Penland, if we'd listen to Penland,
Or his plan for the
and his
nation.
plan for the nation, and he didn't want cable Bahamas, remember, and he didn't want Atlantis, and because he knew that was going to destroy our culture. He knows it's going to change the complexity.
authentic culture
Right.
of
So
the
he
Bahamas.
was trying to preserve that, and people didn't like that because they felt that they want to go in the box. You know, the people who want to have their own.
Yeah, they want to grow and they want to be exposed.
But if
and
Finland-
they want to have a good
But
life.
if Finland did what he did, we would have had a better Bahamas today. One thing I could say.
Well, there is
even the military.
There's the likelihood that we would have.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, the military, he wanted the people to go to national service. We wouldn't have had all these fellas around here probably been shooting guns.
We would have had
We had
a more discipline,
Right. And
more order.
especially in young men.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so they beat me up because I talk about that. But but they was excited. I talk about the Bahamian culture when I talk about what makes a Bahamian. Your mother with
Indoctrinated Christian principles.
Yeah, that's what you call a true Bahamian. And like Independence morning, you know what? I row my mother if she come out the grave. I remember some things I could only row now, but I couldn't row then. But I row now. You remember these things when they take you on the fort, and you gotta stay there and stand in the hot sun, and then you gotta sing all these, lift up your head and
National anthem.
and you gotta know all the stuff. All the stuff, you gotta know all the stuff. And they teach you straight down like, see, remember now, the Catholics,
Come on.
God Save the Queen, and that all crazy, and you have the recital when you go in school, them Catholic things. And when they come independence, Penland changed that. Remember now, not Penland, but when we came independent, it changed.
The Independence Committee.
Because we wasn't God Save the Queen no more. We wasn't singing that song. We singing Lift Up Your
Lift
Head.
up your head. And forward
And
on,
forward
up
on,
together.
right. And so that has lifted our pride a little bit. That we were able to be somewhat independent. Because we ain't
Liberated
No, we
to
still
a certain
we liberated
extent.
because we still talking about Royal Bahamas Defense Force, Royal Bahamas Police Force, and we still talking about Queen on us. We still ain't liberated. We still bowing to the Queen and still why we couldn't have national Bahamian national honor.
Maybe we'll get to that someday soon.
So we ain't liberated. We still, even in our courts, we still to the court.
But when you think about it, the terms of our independence allowed the Queen to remain our head. So we're not a republic like Barbados just became.
Right. But so we're not independent. We're independent. Oh, folks. But like going back to like I say, and when they started telling me they like that road I was going on, where true Bahamian, a true Bahamian when your mother make sure get you ready
and carry you to church.
Yeah, with your one pants that you couldn't wear no other time, but it's only Sunday, and your one pair of shoes you could wear outside. And even if it was get dirty, you have to clean it. You proud. You had that. And when you go anywhere, and your mother bring you home, like I was saying the last show, and your mother bring you home after church, and you sit down and you eat your peas and bad food, peas and rice and chicken and corn and bad food. But
Why you call it bad
what do you
food?
mean? What is good about it?
What is bad about it?
Let me ask you a question.
What is bad about
I'll
it?
tell you. Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
You eat chicken?
No.
Okay. Well, you know what? I don't eat rice. That's bad. So that's two things bad, right?
Neither of them are bad.
What do you mean bad? You don't eat them and I don't eat them?
That don't mean they're bad. What is bad is about the way we consume them.
Ah, they're bad for your health.
That's food. That's fuel
Let
for
me
your
ask
body.
you a question. You eat red meat?
I don't eat any meat.
Okay. Why don't you eat it?
It's a choice because of all the changes that have taken place in the preparation of these foods,
So if you don't eat
processing
it,
and everything.
you don't believe it's good for you.
I don't think
If you don't eat it, you
I
don't
don't
believe
think it's profitable for my health when I can
Okay.
get. Number one, I have to kill the animals in order to eat them.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe in certain parts of the Bible. And one part is the health guidelines that's provided there. So that's why I don't eat
Well,
meat.
you believe in that one, love your neighbor? How can you love
Yeah,
me?
I believe
Well, how
in-
come you loving me then? See? The Bible-
I love myself.
Oh,
And because I love
Jesus, Lord,
myself,
help me.
I love everyone,
everybody around.
including you.
See, you only taking one thing of the Bible. You know you're going. My next show is based on the principle and the values in the Bible. We can talk about the Bible in my next show. And then, folks, I want you to hit me up or hit a Melanie up. We're going to Cat Island. Oh, gee. Oh, Lord, we're going to Cat Island. When we go to Cat Island, I want you all to hit us up because we can try to cover the whole Cat Island. We can do a Cat Island special. We ain't just can do one show. We can do two shows in Cat Island. We go into Cat Island and all we gonna try to meet as much cat. What do you call it? Cat Islands?
Cat Islanders.
Cat Islanders. And we gonna hit the spots where you could see where they making the flour cake. That's what I really want. See somebody making the flour cake. That's what I really want. And I want that to be a blessed show. Oh, Cat Island. I had the rake and scrape on. I want the whole. Yeah. And I want to go to church too. I want the whole thing. Yeah, I want. Was ever sin the Lord, and Lord I live and die, 'cause I live and on.
Home of the Dicey Doe
Hallelujah
Singers,
die.
Cat Island.
Oh, glory be to
All the best
Jesus.
musicians, Cat
Hallelujah
Island.
reign. La 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 lo, la la la.
I guess you come from the
La,
neighboring of
la,
Cat
le,
Island.
le,
You
la,
come from the
lo,
neighborhood of
le,
Cat
le,
Island.
la, la. 'Cause I live in on hallelujah side. I tell you, I want the whole weeks. But guess what? Don't mess around. I'm from Salvador. The
That's why I
real.
said the neighborhood.
Okay, so we all mix up.
You from the New San Salvador.
Sugar loaf. I sugar loafing. That's where I'm from. And so we're gonna have a good time. And being Bahamian, a lot of people stray away from being Bahamian. Everybody want to be American or Jamaican. Even in our music now, you hear on the side of the road, that in our music, man. When our Bahamian musician had made music, they made music with a story.
Yes.
They give a story. And you know,
And all the Bahamian music still have a story, you know.
no, most of it changing.
Really?
You get, come and get it. Nah, I want some, I this and that. Nah.
That ain't Bahamian.
No, but that's what Bahamians doing to the culture.
But it's not that they're listening to Bahamian music. Those bits that speak non-cultural or doesn't tell a story but tell more of an interaction. That's how I'm going to put it. Because a lot of the music that you're talking about, but come and get it now, that's not Bahamian artists singing.
And love you on my own. Oh, let's remember. You've been good and bad. because I am nobody's child. There's a storyline behind that. That's a story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nobody's child. Just like a flower growing wild. Smokey them sing that song. See, songs and Bahamians back in the day, they were proud to be Bahamian.
Mm-hmm.
And so I entertain you sing music that give a story. Rosemary, his experience with Rosemary. KB,
Relationships,
yeah.
relationships, childhood experiences.
Biggest box in the world I ever.
Yeah, travel
yeah,
experience.
yeah.
So
See,
basically, things
yeah.
that are lived experiences is what
Yeah.
most Bahamian artists put to song, and they're very, very interesting. But you know what I personally observed, and not that I go out to parties that often, but there's hardly any Bahamian music playing. And of course, those songs that you talk about with Come and Get It or whatever else it is that promotes that sex on the dance floor is what I call it, kind of culture. But when I was growing up, they used to have record hop. Of course, that was the day of records.
Yeah.
Since then, you had the CD.
Tell me, what is
and
record hop?
Record hop, yeah.
That must be old time. I know about
Right here in Gambell.
that. Yeah, record hop. Folks, you hear that? That's some old school there.
Yeah, and what was good about it was families came out and you would have your food items on sale, conch fritter, chicken, whatever. The food choices haven't changed much. Fried fish was definitely on the menu. Saturdays used to be Goggle Eye and Johnny Cake Day.
Saturdays would be Goggle Eye and Johnny Cake. Yeah, you can hear this Bahamian stories
Goggle
now.
Eye and Johnny Cake Day was Saturday, market day, because my grandparents were farmers. So every Saturday morning, very early, 5 a.m., all the produce from the farm was being carried to the market, which is just there on Market Street. That's
Yeah,
what it's called,
yeah,
Market
Market,
Street,
yeah, Market.
right on the Prince George.
When the straw
Wharf.
market is now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
My old man used to sell the turtle
Yeah.
meat there for many years. He used to turtle
That was
meat.
it. Okay,
that's my
turtle
old
man. Turtle meat,
the
yeah.
Turtle man. Leonard,
Yeah.
they used to call him.
Okay.
Big tall guy. He was a handsome gentleman. That's why I here. Yeah.
So the women kept the family. Women hardly went out to work. They kept the family, raised the children, the grandchildren, the nieces and the nephew. Everybody, the hierarchy was within the family. Anyone who was older than you had to show them respect.
Exactly.
Yeah?
That is how my mother taught me. And that's what the Bahamas used to be. Because if you see, even in when you see neighbors who are older than you and they speak to you, you stop.
Yeah.
Now we lost that. That's where we went wrong. And it's too many. My sister, I remember when my mother go to the market, my sister in charge. There's no second about it. She say, this boy go wash the dishes, this that, we all had to follow suit. And I think we lost this Bahamian hands-on approach. We just let it open and let people just do what they want to do and don't care. And
Yeah.
but there's another side of Bahamian culture. I'm glad you're going down the road, but marketplace and your daddy, this and that. But the Bahamian side of the culture that lost too, it's lost. It's different. Where women, I can get you now. When women used to allow the man.
The women allowed it.
What do you mean they allow
The
it?
woman was powerless. Even now, women, who has control over another individual? Women never had the power. They have a voice today, but back then, the women just simply put up and shut up.
Yeah.
And that was because she was in the home. The husband went out and brought in the beef. She only, like I said, she would be the provider, the caretaker, taking care of him and the children whilst he went out and worked. And then there was a lot of self-employment, because of the segregation. Blacks had limited mobility in terms of getting certain types of job. Yeah, they were butlers and maids and all that kind of stuff. The education level was lower. But as the education level increased, women started going out to work. And so the children now was in daycare or locked at home after school when the mother go back to work and the daddy's still on the job. But women never and still don't. Any woman who think that she has control over a man in the Bahamas or anywhere else in the world, she's delusional.
She delusional?
Yes.
Okay, I can stick right here. I ain't gonna change the subject. Let's stick on the same road. So, you say women can't have no choice. They have no choice and no say.
No. Okay.
So woman has, hold on, chance. So what you saying to me, that is true Bahamian woman who had no choice. That's what the culture.
That was the woman of the day.
Right.
The true Bahamian woman of that era, yes.
So, okay. Follow me here. So now when the woman, another woman came to the house, you hear horror stories, but come to the house, she'll say, I am not leaving my husband. That's whatever you and him have out there, you go back out there, right?
Well, actually, you talk that what you describe.
That was Bahamian culture.
No. That's current. That's
No.
current.
That ain't current.
That is current.
See,
because guess
Bahamian
what?
woman current now. Bahamian
Because
woman
guess
current now.
No.
It has changed. Let me tell you, Bahamian woman now.
Yeah.
You decide to come, let a woman come to your house now. You know what you can tell him?
What you tell him?
Back up, buddy. Oh yeah. You can tell him that. Go with her. See, back in the day, I brought this up for a reason, because for what I've heard, the Bahamian culture back in that day, the woman used to be so loyal to their husband.
She was submissive.
Okay,
she
submissive.
was
That's
fully
what you do.
dependent
Right.
on him. He was the breadwinner, the sole breadwinner of the family, and that was why women moved the way that they did. So, how you think the word woman suffrage movement was coined? Because they were seeking liberation from that kind of stuff.
But I'm sticking back with what used to happen in the Bahamas. See, don't talk.
No. I'm talking about
Okay.
you doing like we didn't have a suffrage movement in the Bahamas. But anyhow,
I
let's go
remember
back
that,
to where you want to go,
Yeah.
right? And the men didn't, we start off talking about cultural music, right?
Yeah.
Just to summarize what in my head,
Summarizing that.
the
Let me go back.
song says, your daddy ain't your daddy, but your daddy don't know.
But that's the same thing I'm talking about now.
Okay.
So that was Bahamian culture.
But it was undercover. No woman went to no other woman's house and tell them, I bring your child or this and that.
So what
and
you
they
trying to
never,
say?
because the men were in control, and whoever else they had out there respected that wife. They couldn't come. The man had to be the one to bring, or the woman will look and see the child pass and say, that child look like my husband, eh?
But that's my point. You just said my point.
But
The woman will never go. And never. Right.
So that's the flip side of what we're seeing in the Bahamian culture today.
Folks, we talking about Bahamian culture, and if this is a part of Bahamian culture, this is really a big part of Bahamian culture.
Biggest part.
Yeah, the biggest part of it. See, we like to discuss everything good, but how, who did what, and give them a plot on independent. But we talking real Bahamian culture. We getting in the nitty grits. See, sweethearting was a part of the Bahamian culture. Still is, but it used to be strong back in the day. But they should push it under the rug, like you say.
It was. I wouldn't say push. We used the word push under the rug, but it was done discreetly.
Right, because if it done discreetly, and my point is this: the woman had something to do with it too, because the woman suppressed some of the things. She known it, but she never let it come to the children, to the public. She tried to just deal with it in.
And
that was a part of Bahamian culture.
And the thing about it is, this thing with all this sex talk that we have going on now, that is everyday and social conversation.
All the songs, everything is about sex now.
Women, that's why women are the way they are. You talk a lot about the women who come to bed with the big panties and the hair tie and the curlers and all that kind of stuff, because of the socialization process. Women, sex was for men, sex wasn't for women. Women just get pregnant and have babies. We say barefoot and pregnant?
Yeah, barefoot and pregnant.
To say that she was seeking sexual pleasure
You don't believe so?
come
back
from
in
the
day?
African heritage where they do
So would you say
the
in the Bahamas back in the day they never seek that? They used
women
to
didn't
be submissive and just
didn't have men, lay down and take it. You see the
So
bar even say what? Shut up and shake.
shut up and shake. Bahamian culture.
Now, because women have this what they perceive to be equal footage, where we say buy the cow when you could
You
get
got
the
milk
milk
free.
free. And they have a counteraction, buy the pig when you could get the linky for free.
Linky for
right?
free.
So, therefore, it seems as if now, coming right out of the same women's suffrage and
Yeah.
women liberation and feminist movement, is that you cut wood, I cut wood. You have sex, I have sex. You have pleasure, I have pleasure. Bahamian culture, what is it now? Where is the woman that stays at home, take care of the children and wait for the husband, run the bar, do all of this? Back in the day, it ain't in the current day.
So that's where the change, the culture has changed. That's why the crime is so much, because back in the day the woman used to stay home and take care of their children,
Right.
grow them up properly.
First teacher.
in the Bahamas now, we're talking
yes.
about Bahamian culture.
Principles.
Right. And the whole culture has changed. And so we celebrate independent. And I say independent for this new change that is not good.
That change our culture
Change our culture.
completely, because it opened, well, I wouldn't say it opened us up, but if you go back to some of the things that you said Sir Lyndon didn't endorse, such as the cable network and the big, large,
Yeah. A lot of
foreign-owned hotels that bring in a different culture, and it has really kind of
Change it changed the culture.
changed the culture to the point where Bahamian-owned nightclubs, where Bahamian music, fire dance, and all of that is
Exactly.
now extinct.
Gone because of the greed of big money. See, the Bahamian culture now is that let's make money as much as we can, and then
So we got to create a
and
competitive
then- yeah,
market.
and then worry about all the other. What that word I want to use? Worry about all the other things that can fall on the side. But
Okay, the side
the
effects.
side effect. Don't worry about that. Let me give you a good example of what I'm talking about. Everybody now want government to give them contract. Everybody want contract, government contract, and all because they want fast, quick, easy money. Nobody want to work in the Bahamas and work like your mother and my daddy.
Right.
Hard.
So
labor
what
and
they
work.
do is they get the big money and then they subcontract
Right.
small man, give them half the money that they get paid. So they keep half for doing nothing, whilst the hard-working people
Right.
get the other half.
And the culture has changed so much that we don't care what happened to our country. So what we do,
So we get a get rich quick
Yeah.
mentality.
and so what we do is get foreigners for cheap labor. My Haitian, my Filipinos, my everything, my this, and they don't care who they go to the back door, get the papers straight. They don't care. They don't care what they're doing to the Bahamian culture and the Bahamas. So when they get their work permit and get these people working, and all the cultures, this funny culture getting in, mixing with, and let me tell you what is so amazing. Boy, I can say this and get in trouble. You know, folks, Bahamian kids seems like they're so weak all of a sudden.
But
They're
why?
dumb. Everybody has bad habits.
Why? Why? Let's go right back to the family structure.
Yeah.
The mother is no longer in the home
She out there trying to make money.
teaching the principles. The responsibility for raising the children is left to the school.
Yeah.
Then now the school is doing what I call, and what is a common trend now, they call the cookie cutter, where children are all being trained to think alike, look alike, behave alike.
Yeah.
Right?
One
And
structure.
then they create competitors where everyone is competing. Back in the day, everyone helped each other. No more helping. Everybody is competing. Family even now don't help family.
No, that's go. And
Family now don't even help
and,
family.
and you know what? It's amazing. I had a situation this week where I heard a wife said, "I need to put my husband in silence." Now, let me explain when see what happened when this man was strong.
Oh, she needs to put him in a nursing home.
Yeah.
She called it son. I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
I thought he was
But
crazy or something.
But what when this man big and strong? And when this man take all his hard-earned money
And build what you
So-
are resting in comfortably every night.
So where see our behavior
Or
because we-
is it that he was one of those older men who marry a younger woman?
no, but see our behavior is this. We so Americanized. Oh, when you can put them in the home.
Because we
Put 'em
have
in-
to carry on with our lives.
We
We
so
don't have time
Americanized.
to take care of nobody.
My mother and my daddy, or my mother, my Grammy, whatever, and my mother, my grandparents, or the neighbor, we used to keep our grand, even though our Grammy used to walk, you know, go
Yeah.
walking, disappear, could get lost. But somebody in the community would say, I saw blah, blah, blah down the road, go get her, come get her, or they'll bring her
Or
back.
they will bring her back.
And we had
Concerned neighbors.
we-
Now, what is the culture? Turn on the
yeah,
video camera on
Oh, yeah.
WhatsApp and
Oh, yeah.
social media
we won't catch the big
and,
head.
and laugh.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
we won't catch somebody in stress and in distress, and then we'll take a picture of them, and it's we have changed.
And put it out there in public. Sometimes, people don't have respect for the dead, or don't talk about respect for
No.
the elderly,
the behavior.
right? Men, young men, have no respect for women.
Why should I have respect for you if you going watch now? Why should I have respect for you if you going to take your phone, open up your leg, shoot your thing?
Okay, no, I wasn't thinking on that
Oh,
age group.
okay.
I was thinking about, say, a young man in his early 20s is approaching the food store door, the bank door. A lady in her 50s or older is approaching the door. No longer are there gentlemen to either hold the door for her to come in before he exit, or for her to enter and he follow in after.
Yeah, but see, that side of the culture
It's gone.
Yeah, because woman has changed it. See, the woman used to tell the man,
Yeah,
I don't need to open the door.
the
Yeah,
mother stopped
yeah.
training the boys how to be gentlemen, and the fathers don't lead by example.
Well, the mothers, see, listen to the trend word. Listen to the words. I don't want my son to be a sissy.
There's nothing
Hold on,
sissy about
hold on.
being a gentleman.
This is what women say. I don't want my son to be sissy. I don't want you be soft. Why you gotta open the door for the woman? Watch now.
You're gonna say that's a woman
What-
saying that?
Yeah. Watch what else a woman can say. Listen carefully what I can tell you. If me and you go into the store and I'm married to you, and you're a jealous woman, and I open the door for another beautiful woman, you can say, but you're not opening the door for her. You're supposed to open the door for me. Be selfish.
No, but
Be
the
selfish.
question is this: do you open the door for your lady? Because if you open the door for your lady, and she see you opening for another woman, no matter what the woman look like, that is respect.
The
That
culture
is
now has changed.
It's
That's old-
selfish.
Yeah.
It's
You can say
selfish.
In old school.
so
old that day-
insecurity. Let me ask you the question though.
Ask me all the
You
questions.
as the man, you see,
Ding-a-ding.
nobody could make you do anything. I don't care how jealous a woman is or how jealous a man is. Your character is your character, and you do not allow an individual to change you from being a respectable human being to being their lackey. So, if you are a consistent gentleman, you will continue to be a gentleman wherever you are, regardless of the conditions or the circumstances surrounding you.
True, but you could drive me by the way you treat me to just don't
To
do
treat
it.
other
Yeah.
people the same way
Yeah,
too?
yeah. You could. Okay, if I consistently say to you, I don't like the way you talk to me. I don't like you talking to me. Eventually, I can shut down. I can just
And
let
you
it
ain't
be.
gonna say nothing.
No, I just let it
Well,
be.
the thing about it is, if you consistently say to me, I don't like the way you talk to me, I am gonna become conscious of the way I talk to you and try to speak to you in the way you would like me to speak to you.
But that's you.
But that's how it should be, all of us.
No, there's some.
It should be all of us.
No. There's some aggressive woman who will tell you straight and plain, "This is where I am, and you just gotta accept it."
Men do the same thing.
Yeah, but that's the point I made.
So there are some aggressive, but you know what? They are not the people that anyone need to be around, because they are who they are and they have no interest in changing who they are.
Well, go back to the Bahamian culture. Bahamian culture back in the day, Bahamian woman was the one that was very nice, cordial, loving, and caring.
And
They
you
would-
know,
they
and
would
you know
gi-
what they say, right?
What they say?
Men cause them to change,
No,
because guess what? You listen to them and they will tell you, I ain't gonna be my mother, I ain't gonna be my auntie, I ain't gonna be my sister. I see how their husband or my daddy treat my mother, and I'll be, you know what, if I allow a man to treat me that way.
Yeah.
So they grow up seeing it, and one of two things happen. They protect themselves against it, maybe by being the first one to attack, which is skewed, or they sit in it and tolerate it because that's what they saw their mother did. In the Bahamian culture, men were gentlemen. Even the man who was out there scheming, his wife never caught him. His wife, he never bring another woman, because they were friendly with everyone, right? His wife didn't approach him about anything. Why? Again, the godliness in him, right? And he bring the child, or the child come around, and some children don't discover who their real father is until adulthood. And then that's because the woman didn't want to be seen as a home wrecker, so she take what she had and keep it to herself. Some women never disclose who the father of their children were because they did not want their name out there. Now, what happened? Yeah, I got him. You got the man, or you got the ring and I got the man.
Yeah, but
these kinds of things. So
You
the
see-
culture now, right? Do you think it's the soap opera influence? Because many of us have soap opera names and all.
Yeah,
Because our parents watch so much soap opera.
but I don't think I think money changes.
You think it's money?
Yeah, I tell you what I come across and notice. Bahamian woman or some Bahamian men will go out and spend everything they make this week trying to impress somebody. And then they'll come back and say, well, I make no money, that little penny I make this and can't do it. But you didn't save $10 of it. You splurge it out because you want people to think you was mobile.
Impress, yeah. you
And
wanna
so many
impress.
people, you won't believe
And
what they do.
leave your family undone.
I know 2 individuals now. Every week they get paid. They gotta go buy a shoe and a dress. Buy a shoe to what? And let people know you could dress and you could. So when you go in the closet full of clothes. So what you do? Dump them? That's it. You wear them so many times you can dump them. So the culture have to change back to common sense.
But you know, the thing about that particular example that you gave, talking about dress, Bahamian women dress very impressively.
Very.
And
All the money go there.
our first prime minister, our first Bahamian prime minister, even at the age of 94, I think she celebrated her 94th birthday the other day,
Yeah.
Lady Marguerite Penman.
Yeah, first lady. Yeah.
And she still has the aura of beauty, fashion, and just exquisite presentation. When we have, that's one thing I think the colonial influence on Bahamian, our dress code.
Yeah, but she
Right?
could afford it.
Not only her,
Some people can afford it.
everybody in the Bahamas dresses up.
Yeah, but everybody can't afford it.
Well, it doesn't matter. The thing about it is to do it wisely, because I don't need 10 pieces of clothing in a particular season. Fashion changes
Yeah.
on a regular, right? But the point that I'm making is that whether you could afford it or not, meaning that everyone can afford to live within their means. Now, whether they choose to splurge and use their money unwisely is another thing. But the dress code of the humblest Bahamian, watch tomorrow night on Clifford Park and see what you see out there. The radiance, the creativity, the splendor of persons' dress code and decorum. It's just there. And that is a rich Bahamian culture. The other area that we do is the food. Now, I know the young people of today are fast food junkies, and the young families are.
But we don't cook no more.
But
our culture changed. We don't cook no more.
they wait for special occasions
Yeah.
like this to go and get all the, or
Yeah.
they go out and eat
Yeah.
and go where
But-
they can get.
But the Bahamian culture and the way we make Bahamian food is different. In our coleslaw, we put sugar. In our tuna salad, we put sugar. In our
Some people,
no, that's the new culture.
Oh, that's the new culture.
That's the new culture.
Oh, please.
We are
'Cause I don't know about that as a Bahamian dish.
Hold on. In our conch salad, we put mayonnaise.
Well, that's a new variation.
No, that's
it's a
culture
new
change.
variation.
See, you're changing the culture.
No, it's a new variation. The traditional conch salad is
Right,
still there. The
right.
traditional Scotch
Yeah.
conch is still there.
Yeah, but-
the traditional conch fritter is still
But
there.
this is
But
part-
variations depend on where you go.
But if you continue on this road, we will have nothing say authentic Bahamian.
Well,
Even the straw bags.
I don't know.
are now
You
made
know,
in China.
one good thing I know is Junkanoo. I remember when Carnival was introduced, the concern was it's gonna fade out and diminish. But thank God it cannot, because it's a completely different experience.
When you see John Canoe, it's going to soon be taken over by a different culture. When the Chinese take over, when they find a way to take over John Canoe, Chinese can take over John Canoe, you know. China gonna make all of the costume. I'm telling you, and they can make it in mass. See, we playing with our culture. We are. Let me tell you why I say this. Do you know, before the hurricane in Abaco, the Chinese used to do all the pasting down there?
Pasting?
Yeah,
Well, why is that?
because there was the Catholic school, St. Joseph, and the parents were Filipinos and Chinese down in Abaco. And so they went out and helped the school. And the
Okay.
junior Junkanoo that the Bahamian guys used to do, the Chinese and the Filipinos, they started to pace and then they brought in some Chinese guy from China to look at the costumes. And I was there, see, nobody tell me. So I talking what I know. And Chinese was looking at these 3 Chinese investors looking at it, and they were saying that if they could do it mass
Produce it.
the
and-
little dolls and the little this and that. Now guess what happened?
What?
They are making it now with the paint. Put Bahamas on it and the little bubble there and make it paint. So what I'm
But
telling
those are for souvenirs.
Yeah,
Well,
but
you know now
well,
that
that's
you
what I-
bring
China.
us into another
Yeah,
thing,
see-
because we have the Junkanoo element. But as I think Junkanoo, They may be able to do something with the costume, but they won't ever be able to change the spirit of Junkanoo, which is the music.
No, but hold on. The music of Junkanoo will soon be changed.
Why?
Because the young people don't like Bahamian music.
But one thing about the when you say the music, you mean the selection of songs that they choose to play.
No. Listen. If
No,
you,
man, the goat skin drum. You telling me the goat skin drum?
Could you listen? The young people. You know, the old Junkanoo was collect. Now every time you turn around, there's something new added. And now it's changing the music and the way they arrange it. It's changing. I'm telling you what I'm talking, so I know. So what I'm saying to you.
Well, guess what, Tony? You are right. But think about the authentic Junkanoo. The Junkanoo of our childhood and the Junkanoo of your children's childhood.
Don't get me wrong.
Are two different. You have seen the evolving of the costumes and the music.
Yeah, but back in the day, we used to use, way back in the day, before we know about shares, we used to use scissors. You know they used to use scissors way back in the day? And they'd make the French that big. And so what we used to do, we used to paste with flour pop.
Flour and water.
Yeah. Now they pasting with glue. So it's changing for the better probably. Don't get me wrong. But soon directly our culture of it is going to change. And soon directly we can stop making it because we can get it mass produced by machines. Costumes.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
And put it together. Pieces.
I'll tell you one thing. I understand that. I still go back in terms of, okay, so we may lose the artistic aspect
That's what I'm talking about, our culture,
of the culture of Junkanoo. Variation in costume, variation in music, but it should still, I hope that it will still remain that traditional African rhythmic tune.
We are talking culture, right? And we're talking Bahamian culture and what Bahamian past and this that. Even in the police band, when Mr. Bob's had it, it was on collect with good smooth movement, sharp. Now the police band got all this dropping
acoustics
back
and
it is
evolve
changing.
And that time bring change.
But when the police band has made their name for themselves, they were tall men that well dressed, sharp and clean. There was no bend to that. You could take the pants and cut the shirts, and they were and there was all about military. There were no jiving and playing games and this. Now today it is changing. Now Defense Force is bringing out crab, and they're having a show. And they dancing. It's changing.
But basically, though, what do you see there? What do you see there, though? Right? Because now, from what you describe, right? I didn't see it, but I kind of like the fact that they are actually featuring Bahamian things. Back then, the rigidity of what you are describing in terms of that sharp cut, no nonsense approach. That's our colonial heritage.
Yeah.
And so some of us want to hold on to that while others want to blend other aspect of the people into it. So I guess that's why they have now, because Junkanoo, Christmas is competition and all of that, but usually independence, they call it the
even
people
Conchata
rush.
you getting can.
Shuck.
I mean, shucks. It's true. See, I
am sorry for the persons who are so desperate to go and buy conch chowder in a can.
Yeah.
Because trust me, you do not have the real Bahamian experience until you've had freshly made conch chowder without any canned products added to it.
But see, you missing the point because the quick and fast and hurry. Nobody got time.
I miss that.
Okay.
I miss that, and that's what is the thing as it relates to the Junkanoo and the costume construction as well. But when it comes to maintaining what is good about it, the richness of what is authentically Bahamian, it takes us, and then now it goes again back to parents and children and the heritage being passed on. Hi, Marcia. Sorry, I just see your comment.
Sorry.
You say men don't even remove their hat in a building. No more.
No more. Yeah, that's true. That is true. We had change, and I remember back in the day,
Especially church.
Yeah, church has really changed.
I see men, when I see men with hat on and suspenders is stylish. That's
shoes.
Something from back in the day. But men never went into a church with a hat on their head. Women were expected to cover their head, but men were expected to show reverence
and men used to leave
by removing their hat.
And I watch everything. I try to watch everything. Men even come with their umbrella. They put the umbrella down the back. Now man walking in the church with umbrellas. And so it is, the culture has changed, because used to say when you open the church and walk with umbrellas, it's a sin. You have to pull it by the door and then come in. So all of this, we just
I never had that word, but trust me.
Our young people,
umbrella in the church.
Yeah, let me say it again. Men, when they go to church with umbrella, they will put it at the door of the church. Now men walking in the church with it because they're afraid somebody can move it and take it. But you will never take an umbrella because they say it's a sin. That's old people. Back in the island, we never used to play. When anybody come to church, we used to walk by the church, and we respect the church so much back in the day. We walk on the next side of the road, opposite the church, because we afraid that the Lord
will strike you.
Right.
Strike you down. But guess what?
And we never used to curse.
Now, talking about curse, that's the thing I wanted to talk about, the language. But no one ever went into churches and violated the church. I mean, okay, in America, they got shooting going on. Thank God we ain't reached to that yet, but the robbery of the church, where the services, people are being robbed as the service go on, or were robbed. Thank God we haven't heard of any of that in recent times. But the reverence, that's the culture that I wanted to bring, the cultural aspect, that the church was revered, the pastors were revered, the police officers were revered. Not no more. Hardly anyone have respect for police officers, especially.
But now there wasn't the police, it was the uniform. We respected the uniform.
No, you respected the individual in the uniform too, because they conducted themselves a certain way.
Well, the police caused that. The police has. Let me share this with you. See, the police becomes their slogan. Police are your friend. So you think now you and your police in the same community and you all grow up together under a tree. When you see him, you can say, "Hey, Tom," and you could do anything, and then he
guess what?
He can let you allow to do it.
But guess what?
But back in the day when you saw, I could give you an example. When you saw Mr. Cartwright in the uniform, or you know what you did? You almost salute him. How you doing, sir? Yeah, but
respect,
even though you know him by the name.
But guess what? All right and fair that you may know them and you do it, right? Because even if you call a person by their first name, like you say, you respect the uniform, but then you also respect what they represent. And what is it that they represent today in the church, in the community? The leaders, what do the leaders represent? Your word back in the day used to be your bond. You didn't have to sign no written contract. A handshake and your word, people knew that if you say something, you will do it.
And what had happened, I believe, what really happened. Let me say this to you. Authority, the word authority. Bahamian, the new Bahamian culture always want to bring down authority. They
Yeah,
don't respect.
that's abuse of authority,
and
because so many persons have abused
yeah,
their
and so
authority.
what they want to do, because you in the chair, let's say you're the boss, they will plan everybody else who on the ground that you ain't no good,
What?
or you don't mean as well.
You mean the person in the chair is being that is being said of the person in the chair
If
by
you're the
some
manager, and we all work subordinate, we all work. What we will do, we will try to get you thrown out the chair. So we try everything. The black crab syndrome. We try everything, find way to get you out that chair. We don't want in some cases we don't want a chair. We just want to destroy
the person in the
what
chair.
you're trying to do and trying to accomplish, and that is why we lost all of this other thing. But the least respect and all the powers to be always are being abused. Who you think he is? Charlie sleep with so, but they always will put something on you that will make other people think bad about you, so they'll fight against you. Bahamian culture loves that. We call it backstabbing.
Yeah,
We love
tearing down
We
other
don't.
persons.
Bahamian culture back in the day, my mother had a neighbor where she used to carry every time my mother come on the field. If we get corn, we grind the corn, she get corn next door. When I used to say, "Oh, that pastor's be drinking rum," you know what she say? "Boy, shut up! You ain't seen no pastor drinking rum." But I see it. But you know why she say shut up? Because she understand the Bahamian culture. She understand if we bring the pastor down, the whole community fall.
Well,
Because the pastor was the leader in the community. And if you bring him down, everybody has lost respect. And that's why the church is suffering. Because people lose respect for the pastors. Because somebody's saying the pastor sweetheart. Somebody's saying the pastor this and pastor that.
again, it comes right back to the difference in the culture then and now. The difference, I think, is that people did things discreetly, whereas today everybody is like, I'm my own man, I'm my own woman. So there is no template of good behavior. What they say, no role models of good behavior for individuals to actually follow, right? They don't have the role modeling. So here it is now, going back to the childhood, and I talk about the community gathering. It was almost on a weekly basis, right? And the one thing that you didn't hear was what was known as obscene language, which is the language of today.
Yeah.
If you ain't cursing,
You ain't
something
cool.
wrong with you.
Yeah, you ain't cool. And you gotta have this. And see, the culture.
As a matter of fact, people used to get locked up for using obscene
Yeah.
language, but not no more. Two things that shocked me, and that's more than 10 years ago. One was hearing the officer in a mobile vehicle speaking to a driver via the speakerphone and using obscene language. That was my first shock. The second one was taking my kids to school and kids walking. Children started swearing at the other one, and I was taken aback, and my son was like, so what's wrong with you? And I'm like, that's a child though.
Calm.
And it's in the morning, first thing in the
Calm.
morning.
Calm.
But where did they get it from?
They
The
got it.
example, talking about role modeling, the behavior that we model. So how did our culture get the way it is today compared to the way it was yesterday?
One,
The models have changed.
yeah. And my parents and probably your parents saw this coming. Because they used to talk about it. One of these days, I ain't gonna be here. Remember those words? But you can wish I hear. And you see these same things I tell you. The parents know, because when they were trying to mold us, we wasn't listening.
Rebelling.
Yeah.
And talk about that now. those who rebelled turn around and be the protector and the enabler of their children who were even more rebellious than they were, and took the rebellion beyond the home into the school, into the church. Back in the day, you could have trumped your children to the pastor when they weren't behaving,
Right.
or take them to a teacher or some other community leader for their assistance. Today, the rule of thumb is, don't touch my child.
The Bahamas has changed so bad. The Bahamas has changed so bad for the benefit, I think, for the worse. I mean, really, we need to revamp this whole new culture. We need to go back to the old school and bring some of those.
Yeah,
Great.
they call it back to basic.
Back to basic.
Back to basic.
I just want to ask you one question
And I
before we
don't
close.
necessarily mean
Back to the
the church,
yeah.
but back to the moral fiber. And it may be that the answer is in the church, but then now we know that is
But the culture-
very
But the culture of the
debatable.
church, the culture of the church is so boring, and the culture of the church doesn't has an ending to it. It doesn't have an ending. Let me explain. The church continue on the same boring, same routine, speaking the same language all the time. There's no, when the church gonna come and stop and say, you know what? Let me grasp hold of this. Let me go a new direction. See, I understand thus said the Lord. I mean, not knocking that part of it. We get in the church, praise and worship, a solo, collect the money, the pastor scream, talk all kind of food, then we the benediction, then we go home. Now let me tell you what is wrong with that. The young people see that as a fix. There's no Lord in that. There's no God in that, because if God is a flowing God and God is open and God transparent and all this, why you can't go to church one day and just praise and worship and come out to church? Anyway, that's the church. I know that's deep. That's going deep in the water. For another day, we can take on religion. That's deep. But let me ask you a question before we go. I know we have time on. What do you go back? What do you say is a true Bahamian? Think you have anything to say a true Bahamian?
A true Bahamian basically is a kind, considerate, loving, sharing, genuinely uplifting individual who sees every individual as his brother or sister. That's a true Bahamian. Always willing to help, always willing to. That's why we have so many foreigners in our country, because we are very kind and open-minded, and that has shifted somewhat because of the now what they call competition for limited resources in the relationship arena, because they feel that the more of either gender you let into the country, that's less available for the Bahamian people. But that set aside, Bahamians are very receiving, open, and receptive. Sometimes I guess we are so kind to the point of being gullible at times. But we're generally a very loving people. Maybe it's our heritage. They say we come from the Arawaks, right? But us were transported from the, what's that, western coast of Africa,
Yep.
right? But we've I think the Christian principle is what has softened us and make us so sensitive to the needs of others. And we do each other down more than we did in the days past. Um, and there is another side that you can say about Bahamians, but there's no group of people from any country where you don't find the good, the bad, and the in between, right? So predominantly, I will say we are nice people, but then we have elements of black crabs that are envious and don't want to see the other person advance and wouldn't lend a hand if they could, you know? But that's not who we were, especially, but I'm going to tell you, it don't make a difference whether you bear the label of Christian or not. If you're not someone that has a heart, like the former prime minister asked the question, where is your heart? Right?
You ain't got none.
Some of us don't have that because we have come up a rough side. And so that has hardened us. And sometimes it take storms worse than walking to actually uproot that rocky heart that we have and give us a heart of flesh. But hey, there is still hope in the worst, and there is still room for improvement in the best of us.
A Bahamian, for me, never gets tired. And Bahamian is the hardest working, true Bahamians are the hardest working people, and they get it done. They are very determined. They loves a good Bahamian, have a passionate heart, and they will give their soul if you let them be. And I believe in a true Bahamian. I always say, and one thing I know, you know Bahamian, a true Bahamian love music, love church and love sing. That's what's a true Bahamian. If you find a person who don't love church, they ain't really no Bahamian.
No, you can't say that. Because you have a lot of Bahamians who used to love church and don't go to church.
That's young people.
They were, no. Older people are the ones who tend to stay away. For
Majority
instance,
of people who don't like church now today is the younger people. The older people, you know what they do? They move from church to church.
anyhow, that's within your circle. I ain't gonna dispute that.
That's what I find in my circle. But anyhow, our show was today, Bahamian culture. We want to take on the world problem, me and Melanie, but we ain't gonna do that today. We just gonna keep this culture alive. We need you, me, Melanie, everybody hands on board. We gotta get our Bahamas and our, see, we talking about independent, happy independent. But what we do for our country? Why we just want to take? We got to learn to give. We got to come out and help. We got a whole crisis going on with the crime, whole crisis going on. So we need everybody on board now. Is I independent, Melanie?
Yep, and so we want to say happy 49th Independence anniversary to the Bahamas, and to say thank you to all of our forefathers, all those who have paved the path for our future. The present is here, but there is still a future where our children and grandchildren will come to inherit. And the needs of the hurting people. There are a number of infractions that exist in the country, and I won't cast a blame on anyone for it. We have to thank everyone who have played a role. There were experienced political leaders and there are inexperienced political leaders. They all have made a contribution to where we are today, whether it was to set us back before we could move forward or whether it's to push us further forward than we already are. We say thank you to all leaders in our country, political, religious, civic, and every other community leader in the country. Thank you so much for joining us. And Tony said he's going to take on a discussion centered around the Bible next week.
The Bible, what you gonna do? Listen, let me tell you what you can do. Y'all gonna go read that Bible, and when you hit next Saturday, Super Tune, that's me. Bible
Toting Christian.
Bible. Bring your Bible, because if you don't bring your Bible, you can get left. You know, the Catholics say they is the first. The kicked up church say they the first. The black Muslims say they the first. Everybody the first, but guess what? They lie.
Who gonna be the last is the question.
Yeah.
Anyhow, y'all take care. Thanks
Next
again.
week, same time.
Sophie,
Happy Independent
Foxhill,
Enjoy.
Sharon, all our friends, our Freeport friends.
Independent morning.
We didn't get a hello. I was wondering, did we? Yeah, last week we did acknowledge those persons who came on.
Independent
Denise is now in Cat Island.
morning.
Happy Denise Winder, McPhee. Haven't seen you.
Morning.
Hope everything's okay. But
1973.
Audrey Munnins,
Yeah,
we miss
Audrey.
all of you all.
Oh, and also my sister Laura in Freeport, and my niece, and all of those who, Peter Gay, all those who listening regularly, the Time Questions, and all, and the people at
Your radio station.
the radio station, Tina and those crew, and the people at Pinder's Tile. I want to say hello to all of y'all. You see,
And of course, the neighborhood of Gambia who watch us.
and the Autonomous Association.
Oh yes, the Bahamas Society of Ophthalmic Nurses.
make
Remember,
sure-
Monday morning, bright and early,
Be there.
after Junkanoo, or in between 5 a.m., 5:30, until we want you to participate in the Fun Run Walk. $15 for registration, which includes the t-shirt and some healthy snacks. There will also be health screening out there, sponsored by the Adventist Health Professionals Association. So come get your
Blood test, glucose test.
whatever tests you want
Come
done,
get your tests.
and make sure bring some money to buy some good old Bahamian food, potato bread, cakes and pastries, but the sauce, chicken, turkey, pig feet sauce. Come on down, and there will be vegetarian options for those of you who don't eat meat. Take care. Tony gone to sleep.
Have a good day. I'm going to take care of my flu.